Around young children, how law enforcement agencies and community leaders are teaming up to help you keep your family safe. And a Utah Supreme Court ruling has first responders across the state nervous to do their jobs because they could be sued. How state legislators are working right now to protect our emergency crews. And we all know that moment of panic when you realize you lost something important like your keys or your wallet. Well, a hiker is on the hunt, not for her lost things, but for the person who found them.
Live and streaming, this is KSL Today.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for being with us on this Thursday morning. We've got one more day until Friday. We're going to get to those stories in just a bit. I'm Lori Pritchard. Deja Brown is following our traffic for us this morning. Matt Johnson, we've got some fog in Cache Valley, but in other places we're okay.
Yep, we've got that fog, and it's probably the first thing we're going to hit on this morning because that's the most impactful. If you live in Cache Valley, heads up, we do have some of that dense fog, and you can barely make out some of the buildings surrounding the main courtyard on USU campus. This live camera showing that well. Pretty dense stuff, down to about 1/10 of a mile to 1/3 of a mile is what we've been seeing most of the morning. And again, mainly confined to Cache Valley. Some of that works into southern Idaho. And you look at Box Elder County, Brigham City, somewhat reduced visibility, but I think most of that problem area is Cache. Light showers are possible in eastern Utah today. Some of those might just find their way into the Wasatch Front, and then a dry weekend looks to be on tap. So for today, you've got a couple of showers popping up along the spine of the mountains, but all in all, it's mainly clouds. We'll walk through potential rain chances in just a few minutes. Deja?
Sounds great, Matt. Thanks so much. We continue following a traffic issue over in Weber County, specifically in Roy near the intersection of 3500 West and 56 South. It is involving a tractor trailer and the intersection remains blocked this morning, so please use some caution on the approach. Like Matt mentioned, traveling through Logan, fog is going to be your big issue this morning, so pack some patience, increase your following distance, and be mindful of reduced visibility. Where that earlier crash is, we are seeing some reduced speeds there. I-15 southbound from Roy. Give yourself some extra time near 56 South as we are dealing with some lane restrictions along that stretch. Still dealing with congestion southbound I-15 between Farmington and Centerville, and then on the northbound side, some earlier congestion in Murray has just wrapped up. So we'll take a quick look at your Utah County commute coming up in just a bit.
All right, Deja, thank you. Well, this morning we are following new developments in a deadly crash on Redwood Road in West Jordan. We now know the name of the woman who died in that crash. Police say 66-year-old Lisa McGreary was leaving the Memorial Redwood Mortuary and Cemetery when her car was hit by a Tesla about 8:40 Tuesday night, I should say. She died at a nearby hospital. According to an obituary, a viewing was being held for McGreary's mother at the mortuary when that crash happened. It had ended 40 minutes earlier. We're following another fatal crash, this one happening in Tooele. Utah Highway Patrol says a single vehicle rolled at I-80 outside of Dell. The driver was the only person in that vehicle and was killed. No word yet on what may have caused that vehicle to roll. Right now, a Utah rideshare driver is behind bars and is accused of sexually assaulting his passenger. Police say Julio Mendoza was giving a ride to a University of Utah student when he allegedly attacked his passenger. This happening near the Huntsman Mental Health Institute before she was able to escape the car and reported the assault. This arrest highlights an issue rideshare companies like Uber have been grappling with for years, how to try to prevent assaults. And with safety in mind, Uber has implemented a new feature called Women Preferences, which allows women to request a female driver on demand. New developments in an officer-involved shooting outside a temporary shelter in West Valley City. Police say they arrested 25-year-old Stephen Lopez on multiple charges, including aggravated assault. That shooting happened Wednesday morning. Officers say Lopez used his van to ram a police vehicle that was working security at the shelter. That officer then fired at Lopez's van. Police say he then took off, but later returned to the parking lot. Police took him into custody. Neither Lopez nor the officer were hurt. Law enforcement agencies and community leaders teaming up today to hand out free gun locks. They say taking the time to lock a gun can save a life. Salt Lake City police say about 83% of gun-related deaths in Utah are suicides. On top of that, stolen weapons are used during impulsive acts of violence.
Secure storage is essential, and that's what this program brings to our community here. The impact of a stolen firearm, it can end up in the wrong hands, fueling criminal activity or leading to accidental injuries.
We have a full list of locations on our website where you can pick up a gun lock today. Utah Republican Senator John Curtis partnering with Democratic Arizona Senator Mark Kelly to introduce legislation aimed at social media companies. They say the Algorithm Accountability Act will hold companies accountable for the harm algorithms in feeds may cause. Senator Kelly saying this over and over again, these companies refuse to take responsibility when their platforms contribute to violence, crime, or self-harm. We're going to change that and finally allow Americans to hold companies accountable. Senator Curtis added in a recent Wall Street Journal op-ed, we hold automakers accountable when a design flaw causes an accident. We hold pharmaceutical companies accountable when their products cause injury. There is no reason big tech should be treated differently. State lawmakers pushing back against a recent Utah Supreme Court ruling that said first responders are not always protected from lawsuits when they're doing their jobs. The High Court suggested that protection is only in place during a disastrous or potentially disastrous event. First responders say that ruling was a surprise.
Everybody's job is hard enough the way it is. They don't need to be concerned if they're going to be liable for doing their job the right way.
A Utah legislative committee unanimously approved a bill stating that first responders are immune from lawsuits for doing their jobs. They're expected to pass that in the general session come January. And Utah lawmakers deciding to table a proposal to get rid of gathering signatures on paper. The bill would have required signatures for candidates, initiatives, or even referendums to be fully electronic by the next 5 years. Lawmakers say they'll keep working at it. We could see it come back to Capitol Hill in January when the legislative session does begin. 5 candidates are on the ballot for the upcoming Senate District 11 midterm replacement vote. The Forward Party of Utah made that announcement. The candidates are Tinley Bean of Erda, Malay Bliss of Kearns, Emily Buss from Eagle Mountain, Jeff Marshall from Magna, and Jeff Saunders from Tooele. Online voting begins on Friday, December 5th. For in-person voting, you can head to 11chooses.com for more information on those locations. Salt Lake City and Provo now officially meet air quality standards for the first time in 15 years. The FDA found air quality in the 2 cities was not compliant with federal law back in 2009. Utah officials said that they had to implement nearly 24 new rules to target emissions from multiple sources. They say incentive programs like replacing wood stoves and diesel vehicles, along with educating the public, have helped to get to this level.
All right, taking a look at that weather out there. Folks, it's cloudy yet again. We just can't seem to hack the cloud cover, but we could see some showers out of it today. In fact, at the very south end of the valley, we've had a couple of streaks of rainfall come down. It's not anything too surmountable here, but 44 in Moab, 42 downtown, and 41 in St. George. Lots of clouds. Little bit in the way of rainfall today is possible. Some light showers. Don't let these icons scare you away from the day. 40s and 50s generally for highs, and really light precip, if any, that we'll get today. And that's because of a low pressure system that's now centered over Tucson, Arizona. It will continue to move towards the east, creating for severe weather in Texas, some beneficial rain and mountain snow in New Mexico. And for Utah, well, we might just push a couple of showers into the Wasatch Front and eastern portions of the state. Coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to take a look at your 7-day forecast and what's expected as we get closer and closer to Thanksgiving. Deja?
Forward to that, Matt. Thanks so much. Okay, we continue to follow this crash for you, of course, in the Roy area near 3500 West and 5600 South. Starting to see some more police activity on the ground here. So we're going to get you some more information, but it looks as though it is a crash that involves a tractor trailer and one other vehicle. As you travel I-15 southbound coming in from Ogden into the downtown Salt Lake area, it's going to be about a 40-minute ride, just with some added congestion. If you're traveling I-15 northbound, we are relatively quiet. Checking in on your Provo commute, no major issues along the I-15 corridor. You're just going to see some minor congestion between Point of the Mountain and 142nd South in the Draper area. Coming up, we'll take a live look at your live drive times and your commute through Tooele.
A Utah hiker searching for a Good Samaritan this morning who turned a moment of panic into a real surprise. So she lost her wallet and keys hiking up Mill Creek Canyon, and she was bracing for a headache, of course, because you have to replace all that stuff. But that's when she discovered someone not only found her wallet and her keys, but went out of their way to protect them for her. News specialist Brian Carlson is live at Mill Creek Canyon for us this morning. Hi, Brian.
Hey, good morning there, Laura. Yeah, I love this story too. So this is, at first, every hiker's nightmare. I mean, imagine she lost both her wallet and her keys somewhere up the mountain and thought, I'm never getting them back. But when she got to her car at the trailhead parking lot, everything was right where it needed to be. And so she wants to say thank you. So this happened here to Chris Klein of Mill Creek, who went hiking Tuesday up Rattlesnake Gulch with her dog Rudy. She says she stopped to pull her coat out of her backpack and didn't realize until later that her wallet and keys fell out at the same time. Now, when she figured out the mistake, she started going through all those things in her head, worrying about how am I going to get home? What would it take to replace her credit card and her driver's license? Well, no one actually found her wallet and her keys immediately. She actually had to hitch a ride down the mountain, go home, grab a spare key, and then when she got back to the car with that key, that's when she found someone had found those missing keys, wrapped them in paper, put them on her windshield, and they put her wallet safely locked in her car.
Restored my faith in humanity. I put a little Facebook post up on the Hiking Utah group and just said, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Now, as of this morning, Klein's message to her anonymous Good Samaritan has been liked more than 8,000 times and is getting a lot of attention. She not only expressed her gratitude, but says she has a feeling she actually crossed paths with them when she and her dog were hiking down and they were going up. Now, Klein doesn't want to leave it right there. She wants to reconnect with that hiker who saved the day, so hopefully she can see them again and thank them in person. So if you know who it is, maybe we can help them get together. Live at Mill Creek Canyon, Brian Carlson, KSL 5 News. Back to you.
Oh, Brian, there are more good people in the world than not.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, and she found them right where she needed them.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Brian, such a great story. Thank you so much for making us all smile on this Thursday. Meanwhile, this morning, the small town of Gunnison is getting a new well for drinking water. The project will be paid for by the federal government, which just gave Utah $46 million to improve water infrastructure in rural communities. That funding is part of the bill that reopened the U.S. government last week. Gunnison's mayor says the $5 million well will be built in Tar Canyon to relieve pressure on aging infrastructure. An historic water pump house in Salt Lake City has been taken offline. Officials say a specialized team is taking water samples from different depths in the well on 4th Avenue, just south of the Capitol. And they're working to determine where PFAs, also known as forever chemicals, are coming from and how they're moving around the aquifer. Those chemicals were discovered back in 2013, and since then, the city has said the water is safe. Testing and construction started Wednesday. It's expected to last for about 5 weeks. The results will help the city to determine the best long-term solution. General conference sessions have one less meeting now. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints will no longer have a Saturday evening session. The semi-annual conference will now only have 4 daytime sessions. The evening conference has gone through several changes in the last 10 years. For years, it was a men's session the weekend of conference and a women's session the weekend before. Then in 2017, those 2 sessions became annual meetings, and on one Saturday night in April, then the other, of course, in October. Then in 2021, it was discontinued for a month before it was then reinstated as a general session open to all. Salt Lake City is giving a fresh look to its historic Japantown as part of a bigger downtown redevelopment project. It's a small stretch of 100 South near the Salt Palace. The city unveiling a rendering of an $11 million makeover. It includes reducing car lanes to add Japanese cherry trees, making the street better suited for festivals and more.
We want to ensure that we have something that's respectful towards their community and something that, while not rectifying the past, ensures that future generations, visitors, residents, everyone can enjoy Japantown.
The timeline of this project isn't clear, but the plans for the broader entertainment district are expected next summer.
All right, checking back in on that weather, folks. A beautiful photo coming in from Dennis Dunn of Mount Timpanogos after some fresh snowfall. Again, we should have a lot more on this mountaintop, but we like to see at least some snow, right? And it gets deeper the higher you go. Beautiful sun shot of here, shot of the sun light coming in just before it went down past the horizon. 3-day rain totals in southern Utah have been rather impressive. Take a look at this. New Harmony 1.51, Duck Creek Village picking up 1.30 with about a foot of snow on the ground with that. Glendale an inch, just shy of it for Bryce Canyon, Helper, Kanab, and even St. George, anywhere from about 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch. Now, the reason for all the rain in southern Utah is the core of this low has been hanging out near Las Vegas and Phoenix. That puts most of your showers in southern Utah with leftovers only reaching the Wasatch Front. Today, more of the same. Cloudy, sprinkles in northern Utah, maybe some showers in eastern Utah, and that's it. Things really start to dry out as we head into Friday, tomorrow, 2 o'clock, maybe a mountain shower, and then Saturday, stable air moves in here. We got more sunshine. And yes, a dry weekend is on tap. So for the rainfall today, it's really going to be less than 1/10 at the most, right? Some of these cities might pick up 1/10 or more, but I think all in all, it's pretty weak. You got showers possible, mainly east of I-15 in central Utah. Down to the south, similar story. It's a southeast corner, 4 corners kind of deal. You get into the north, these are really light precip amounts that could come from these showers that move in. In fact, I really struggled putting the rain icon this morning on the forecast, but really we could see a couple of sprinkles. 55 to 56 to 59. Climbing into the weekend, we'll go 60 Sunday, Monday, St. George. Headed into your Thanksgiving day, I've got upper 50s by Wednesday. Not a bad forecast with plenty of sunshine. Wasatch Front, 52 isolated showers possible today. And then we're dry over the weekend. You head into next week. I've thrown in clouds on Wednesday. That's Thanksgiving Eve. And yes, Deja, we might see a clipping system Thanksgiving Day.
All right, Matt, thank you so much. Well, as we continue to follow the impacts of a surface street crash in the Roy area that's near 3500 West and 56 South, we are going to track another one of our areas that is a slow spot. Good morning to our Tooele commuters. This is I-80 eastbound as you travel out of Lake Point. We are used to the lane restrictions here, but take a look at your screen. We are seeing some slow-moving traffic on the approach to the on-ramp. Don't forget, we're dealing with some lane restrictions in the on-ramp as well as in the main span of the lanes. So give yourself some extra time as you're traveling in this direction. We know, of course, this is a usual spot, so something that if you normally travel through this area, you're already aware of. No major issues near milepost 100 near the edge of the Great Salt Lake. So right now, 52 minutes traveling from Tooele to I-15. For perspective, should only take you about 45, so tack on some extra drive time as you're heading out the door.
Deja, thank you. Let's get to your health news on this Thursday morning. There's a new study saying typical levels of fluoride in community drinking water do not impair cognitive abilities and may even boost them. Using decades of test scores from nearly 27,000 Americans, scientists found students with full childhood exposure to recommended fluoride levels scored higher than those with no exposure. It also showed no signs of cognitive decline later in life. The study challenges claims sparked by a recent government study that linked fluoride to lower IQ levels. This comes after Utah became one of the first states in the country to ban fluoride in drinking water. An update to a recall this morning. The number of botulism cases linked to a recalled baby formula now on the rise. The CDC is reporting 8 new cases in 15 states. A total of 31 infants have now been hospitalized. No deaths, thankfully, have been reported. It's for the ByHeart Whole Nutrition Baby Formula. It's still on some shelves in multiple states. The product was sold online and it was shipped globally. We do have some breaking news this morning. The Labor Department releasing the September jobs report. This comes after the government shutdown caused a backlog of several months. In September, 119,000 jobs were added. That was more than expected. The unemployment rate ticked up a bit to 4.4%. The Labor Department has canceled the October report, so the next one we can expect is for November. That is set to be released December 16th. And in consumer headlines, you'll have extra time this year to return your holiday gifts. Amazon, along with other retail giants, will expand its return window to make buying online, it says, as seamless and worry-free as possible. So for most items purchased through December 31st, returns will be accepted through January 31st. Products must be in original or unused condition, though, so remember that. There are some exceptions, like Apple-branded products. BYU engineers and plant science experts have developed a new smart Bluetooth sensor that may be changing how farmers manage water. The BYU Smart Bluetooth Stake measures soil moisture in real time every single minute. It provides a map of where water is needed the most. That data is sent via Bluetooth to the irrigation system, which then adjusts watering automatically. Experts at BYU say this invention could significantly boost water efficiency. Well, take a look at this. This is a time lapse from Deer Valley Resort showing the conditions that they're facing. Warm temperatures and a lack of snow pushing back the opening of its season. Right now, it says they're not even speculating when they will open. But Deer Valley says crews are working around the clock. They're ready to start making snow the moment sustained temperatures are cold enough. Deer Valley says that they'll start updating pass holders once they decide on a new start date. And that is the question this morning, Matt. And you even mentioned this yesterday when we were talking, that the temperatures are not cold enough for some resorts to even make snow.
Yeah, you know, it's true. And it's a tough thing, right, when you're at such a high elevation and you still can't get cold enough air to even make snow. We got problems. Right now in the valleys, it is upper 30s and low 40s. We've had some cloudy skies out there. 44 in Moab and 38 in Cedar City. There is a slight chance for some showers today. And you can see some of those on radar here from about, Mount Nebo north and east into the western Uintas. Eastern Utah also has a slight chance to see some showers today as well. So the forecast for the Wasatch Front, 52 really weak, widely isolated showers today. Then we got clearing skies. Mostly cloudy to partly cloudy Friday. Saturday, more sunshine and highs in the upper 40s, Deja.
Sounds good, Matt. Thanks so much. Like Matt has mentioned, for the majority of the morning, fog has been an issue that we've been seeing in Cache County and specifically in the Logan area. Reduced visibility still working along this stretch, so just keep that in mind as you are making your morning drive plans. Let's take a quick look at the map. We are still dealing with some congestion I-15 northbound as you make your approach to Point of the Mountain. Average speeds there about 66 miles per hour. No major delays coming out of Park City this morning. 29 minutes as you make your way over to the airport. Heaviest delays continue to be coming out of Lake Point this morning, so tack on some extra time. About 13 minutes worth of added drive time this morning as you're making your commute over to I-15. Quick look at your live drive times as you're heading out from the Park City area.
All right, Deja, thank you. And other headlines that we're following on this Thursday morning. The Bonneville Shoreline Trail is set to expand in Salt Lake County. This week, the County Council approved a $180,000 purchase of 60 acres just south of Immigration Canyon. Officials say it will help fill those gaps along the trail. Those gaps were created by landowners who didn't want to sell their property. It's unclear at this point when the county will finalize this deal or when they'll build new trails out there. Thousands of local leaders from around the country are in Salt Lake City this week, learning how Utah is getting ready for major events like the 2034 Winter Olympic Games. The panel shared how Utah is able to attract those big events, not just through our venues, but through the people that we have here and the programs available for kids and families to get involved.
We really know we could host the games tomorrow, as we say. That's unique, and it's also the uniqueness of Utahns wanting the games to be here.
This tour was important for cities big and small. They may not be bidding for an Olympic Games, but they might bid for something else. And for many of these leaders, learning how Utah does it just might help them in their own communities down the road. And speaking of gorgeous downtown Salt Lake City, take a look at that as the sun comes up on this Thursday morning. Thanks so much for being here with us and spending part of your day.